तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकयः चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः. So in the continuation of reading chapter 22, in this connection, Lord Chaitanya gave a short description of the principles of the four shlokas of Srimad Bhagavatam as follows. Nobody can understand the constitutional position of the Supreme Lord, how he is situated, what are his transcendental qualities, what are his transcendental activities, how he is full with six kinds of opulences. These things cannot be understood by mental speculators or by one's academic education. These things are to be understood by the mercy of the Lord. As has been stated in Bhagavad Gita, one who is fortunate enough to be favored by the Supreme Lord can understand all these explanations by the mercy of the Lord. The Lord existed before the material creation, therefore the material ingredients and nature and the living entities all emanated from him, and again after dissolution they rest in him. When the creation is correct, it is maintained by him. At the same time, whatever manifestation we see, that is only a transformation of the external energy. When the Supreme Lord withdraws the external energy, then everything enters into him. In the first verse of Aham Eva, the word Aham, I, is mentioned 3 times. That is to stress the Supreme Personality of Godhead is full with all opulences. For anyone, therefore, who cannot understand or does not believe in the transcendental nature and form of the Supreme Lord, and who says he is without any form, Aham is stated 3 times just to chastise him. The Lord possesses his internal energy besides his external, marginal, and relative energies, as well as the manifestation of his cosmic world and the living entities. The external energy is manifested by the qualitative modes or gunas of material nature. One who can understand the nature of the living entity in the spiritual world can actually understand Vedyam or perfect knowledge. One cannot understand the Supreme Lord simply by seeing the material energy and the conditioned soul. But when one is in perfect knowledge, then he is um, free from the influence of the external energy. I think it's a typo error. They have written free. I guess it is free. Just as the moon is the reflection of the sun, and without the existence of the sun, the moon cannot illuminate. So, this material cosmic manifestation is something like the reflection of the spiritual world. When one is actually liberated from the spell of the external energy, he can understand the constitutional nature of the Supreme Lord. Devotional service to the Lord is the only means for attaining Him, and everyone and anyone in any country, in any atmosphere, and under any circumstances can accept this devotional service of the Lord. Devotional service is about the four principles of religiousness or about the understanding of liberation. Even the preliminary process of executing devotional service is transcendental to the highest subject matter of liberation in the ordinary course of religiousness. One should therefore approach a bona fide spiritual master irrespective of caste, creed, color, country, and place, and he must hear from the bona fide spiritual master everything about devotional service. The real purpose of life is to revive our dormant love of God. That is our ultimate necessity. How that love of God can be achieved is explained in Srimad Bhagavatam. There is theoretical knowledge and specific or realized knowledge. The perfect realized knowledge is obtained in realization of the teaching received from the spiritual master. Chapter 23. Why study the Vedanta Sutra? Knowledge means information gathered from the scriptures, and science means practical realization of the knowledge gathered from the scriptures. It is scientific knowledge when it is gathered from the scriptures through the practical application of the bona fide spiritual master. But when interpreted by mental concoction, it is personal. By scientific understanding of the information from the scripture through the bona fide spiritual master, one learns by one's own realization each actual conception of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The transcendental form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is different from material manifestation and different from the reactions of matter. Therefore, without scientific understanding of the spiritual form of the personality of Godhead, one becomes an impersonalist. The sunshine is itself an illumination, but that illumination is different from the sun. The sun and the sunshine are not differently situated. Without the sun, there is no sunshine, and without the sunshine, there is no sun. I think I will stop here for today because they are very nicely explained in a couple of these paragraphs. Just to summarize, it's very beautifully said by Srila Prabhupada. The first thing is how to gain the knowledge when he talks about what is the knowledge and what is perfect knowledge. The perfect knowledge is the one where we have the knowledge from the scriptures as well as have its practical realization of the knowledge, whatever the knowledge has been gathered from the scriptures. And this is only possible when we approach a bona fide spiritual master who has both the knowledge and he has a practical experience. Brahmanishta and Brahmastotriya, well established in that. So by approaching spiritual bona fide master, and when one starts gathering the information's knowledge and put into application or practical realization, and that's how, by the mercy of the spiritual master and by the mercy of the Supreme Lord, one starts having their own realization within their own heart. And this is the correct way of understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But it has to be borne in mind that we just read that no, it cannot, Lord cannot be understood by mental concoction or by one's own perceptions. It's only by the mercy of the Lord if the Lord feels like he had that this devotee is dear to him and he, out of causeless mercy, reveals himself to the particular devotee. The 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 four verses which are from Srimad Bhagavatam, Aham Eva, is very important here, and Lord Chaitanya has explained in a very beautiful way. And if we are able to grasp these four verses and put into application, there is no question or no doubt that one can reach onto the Supreme Lord Lotus feet. What is this Aham Eva? Aham means here I. Here the Lord is confirming and making sure to the people who are deluded and who are not sure that He is the supreme knowledge. And it is through the process one has to achieve Him. And how to achieve Him is the process called Abhideha. And when who follows onto this process can surely attain the stage of human life, that is love of Godhead, which is the only aim of the human life. And if one attains the love of Godhead, that is his life becomes complete, perfect. So the four verses, what here indicating is he is the supreme center of the relationship of all living entities. That is one thing, and he is the supreme knowledge. And the third is that through the process, only he has to be known. In this connection, Lord Chaitanya, when explained about this, here the Lord is when the Lord is stressing on aham, it is to be understood that it is for the people he is chastising, the people who are not sure that Lord has a form, so specifically for Mayavadis. And here clearly Lord is telling that it is me, from me everything emanates, and I am the center of every living organisms and the center of all the material existence. As stated in the Brahma Samhita's first verse, Ishwarah Paramakrishnah Sachidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarvakarana Karanam. So he's the embodiment of Satchit Ananda, and from him everything emanates, and he is the cause of all causes. So the Lord was existing before, and from him the external energy and marginal energy and other creative energies manifested. And that is the reason of this manifestation of this cosmic world. It's very difficult to understand this internal energy because it is transcendental. People cannot understand Lord's transcendental energy through the external energy and by seeing the cosmic manifestation and through one's limited senses. So it's the only one way to understand the supreme transcendental qualities is through Vedyam or through perfect knowledge. And the perfect knowledge is, as discussed, it is approaching the spiritual bona fide master, one who is Brahma Shrotra and Brahmanishta.